What's going on, y'all? Welcome into another edition of Mavs Latest. I am Josyah Howard, and I wanted to start today's episode. We got to show some love to former Mavs head coach Rick Carlisle. I wanted to talk a little NBA Finals because the Pacers take game 3 of the NBA Finals. They're up 2-1 against the Thunder. A fairy tale story. No one's expecting it. The major underdog. What does this remind you of? Oh, yeah. 2011, the Dallas Mavericks upset the Miami Heat in 6 games. Dirk Nowitzki finally makes it to the mountaintop, defeating LeBron James. He doesn't get his first championship, stops him from doing that. And I say all that, and I want to connect all that to say this. This NBA Finals so far has been a Rick Carlisle masterclass. And I see so many similarities with this team. And if you just break down this game right here, right now, 116-107, Pacers win in game 3. First person I kind of want to look at is someone like a Pascal Siakam. I really love how, honestly, Carlisle, he has been really good at seeing what his roster is and conforming to his roster. He's not necessarily stuck to his scheme like some other coaches are in the NBA, and that's really admirable, and that's why Carlisle's lasted in this league so long, because you could give him a lot of different pieces to play with, and he's going to figure out how to maximize everyone. And I think he does that with the Pascal Siakam, does a lot of the similar sets that he ran with Dirk back in the day in 2011. A lot of those pin downs, a lot of those opportunities to get the wide open mid-range shots, because Pascal Siakam is a surgeon when 15 feet and in. If he's wide open, mid-range, 15 feet, triple threat in the post, it's money. It becomes unstoppable. And when you're mixing it in with a Tyrese Halliburton, who now you have being the engine of this team, similar to like a Jason Kidd in 2011 and that championship run, it's really just a Cinderella run. You don't really get it here in the NBA. And I really just wanted to give Rick Carlisle the flowers he deserves today, because to be up 2-1 on this team in OKC is super, super impressive. And it's showing just so much shades of this 2011 run, where when you're playing with house money, and honestly, when you're a coaching and basketball savant like a Rick Carlisle, you kind of have an advantage in certain sentences, because no one's expecting anything of you. You're expected to lose. Everyone had the Thunder in 5 in the series. They have to win it in 6 now at least. And to me, I'm rooting for the Pacers personally. I love Carlisle. I love what he's done over the years for the Mavericks, for the Pacers. It's been a real fun ride to see them in the conference finals last year, now in the finals this year, up 2-1. I'm going to continue to give love to Rick Carlisle on this show as long as the Pacers are going to keep fighting in this series, because it's deserved. How do you have a guy like Ben Mathurin getting 27 off your bench in only 22 minutes, 9 of 12 from the field? I just feel like a guy, again, Rick Carlisle is known for opening up the offense for his bench guys. A guy like Jason Terry in the beginning, and then he kind of became a starter 6-man. A JJ Barea, someone like that he's famously known for. When the defense has the attention of my main guys, I have you guys to step up, and I have confidence in you that you could go out there and give me a quick 20, and in this case, a 27 from Ben Mathurin. So again, I'm rooting for the Pacers. We're definitely going to talk the finals as they wind down here and the season winds down. But we've been talking all week about Jason Kidd and a possible move to New York. And I saw this fun article today, so I just wanted to touch on this just to kind of put a bow on this because, as we all know, the Knicks have been asking not just for an interview with Jason Kidd, they've been asking for interviews with Quinn Snyder from the Hawks and so many other coaches in this league. Um, First of all, before I get to this fantasy trade, just if the kid did get traded to the Knicks, just to have some fun, you sit here and say, why wouldn't you have a plan if you're New York to go get a head coach when you're firing Tibbs? Or at least like a plan in your head of we're going to try to get someone up and coming, we're going to try to get a veteran, we're going to try to get a college coach. Like, just like not a plan of specifically who it is, but at least uh, a archetype or a prototype or however I want to word that, um, of the type of coach you want to get. So this Knicks situation is fascinating. It's great that it started with the Mavericks head coach. Had some content here to talk about. But let's get to this fantasy trade here because I don't know if you guys would want to do this trade. Let me know in the comments after I do say this trade if you would have did this trade or if you would have want to keep Jason Kidd. So the Mavericks would be giving up a 2026 Washington Wizards protected first round pick via the Knicks, and then a 2026 first round swap top 4 protected. And then the Knicks would get Jason Kidd, and the note is the trade wouldn't be executed after the NBA draft. The Wizards top 10 protected, otherwise it would convey to 2 second rounders in 26-27. If the Knicks 26 first selection is in the top 4, Dallas would have received New York's 2032 first round pick. So yeah, if you are the Mavericks, that's not very enticing to trade Jason Kidd just for a couple picks, maybe a couple swaps. No player, and even just a role player. I don't know. It's all fun. Obviously, you're looking at it and you're just having fun with it. But at the end of the day, I'm happy Jason Kidd's staying with Dallas. And I've said it over and over again, he's the perfect guy for where this franchise is currently at. If it's self-inflicted or not, or if you wanted to do what they did or not, this is where they're at, and Jason Kidd's the guy for the job. So I'm happy he's staying. I'm happy it was kind of it seemed like just a bunch of smoke, just a bunch of headlines, just entertainment value stuff. So Jason Kidd staying in there. Let us know if you would do that trade, but I wouldn't. I hope you wouldn't either. So next on the episode, I saw some fun trade rumory ideas today, just thinking about stuff for the pod, and I just want to go through a couple of trade ideas. And again, leave a comment below if you think the Mavericks should do these trade ideas that I'm saying. Let me know. Grant Hughes of Bleacher Report suggested that the Mavericks should go out and call LA again and go get Austin Reeves. So with Kyrie Irving being hurt, they obviously are in absence of some perimeter plays, some perimeter scoring. And Grant suggests that they should go out and get Reeves for a package surrounding PJ Washington and Derek Lively. Now, on face value, I would not do that at all. I do think you have to move on from PJ just because I think Cooper and him do a lot of the same things stylistically. They play the same position. They're the same size. They can't really. I don't think that would fit on the court together well. So I do think at some point, I think on this show, we will be talking about a PJ Washington trade in the offseason. Now, we're talking Derek Lively. I think he's somebody you keep along for the ride for the long term. And I'll get to Daniel Gafford in a second here, but I do think Daniel Gafford, if you're going to pick between the two bigs and Daniel Gafford and Derek Lively, you keep Derek Lively. Um, so, long story short, I do think you go after Austin Reeves if it's Daniel Gafford instead of Derek Lively. If that's the package of PJ and Gafford for Austin Reeves, I do that. I don't think LA does that. Excuse me. I don't think LA does that. But if you call an offer for PJ and Gafford and they take that, I would do that. I think Austin Reeves would make this team, so much better. If you only are getting rid of PJ, who kind of clashes again stylistically with Cooper Flag, and Gafford, where you at least have Lively to make up for losing that depth at center. Another potential trade that I saw, Jaron Boslow of the Smoking Cuban, he suggested Daniel Gafford swap, and I brought up Gafford earlier, Daniel Gafford swap to the Atlanta Hawks for potentially a Clint Capella swap. I mean, I don't hate it. I don't love it. Um, I think you can get a little bit more value for Gafford than a Clint Capella. They're kind of similar player, and Capella is a little bit more undersized than Gafford. But they do a lot of the same things: rim protection, high volume rebounding, lob threat, a lot of that stuff. I think you can kind of package Daniel Gafford in a better trade package than Clint Capella to me. So I don't think you do that. I think it's definitely a good thought. It's kind of like you don't want to lose too much size while at the same time you got two bigs on your team already and you don't really want to get into the second apron for both of them. So again, Clint Capella, good player, but not so sure that's exactly who I'm gonna go for. But to wrap up this episode of Mavs Latest, want to report that the Mavericks are hiring former Lakers assistant Mike Penberthy, Mike Penberthy, to the team to become an assistant with the Mavericks, and he was assistant alongside Jason Kidd for the Lakers the Lakers 2020 bubble championship, and I like this hire for them. Someone familiar with how Jason Kidd likes things to operate. I know Jason Kidd wasn't the head coach of that team, but he was kind of a pseudo head coach on that team with Frank Vogel. And I just think bringing people into the program that are going to be, you got to establish what you want the Dallas Mavericks to be post Luka. And I just think establishing a program with Jason Kidd, with his people, with his guys who know what he wants, what his expectations are for the franchise, I think it's a win for them. And bringing in Mike, I think that's a good move. You got to keep making good moves for this team. And anything that's good PR wise, anything that is good for stability and infrastructure, I'm all in for the Mavericks because, I think you're starting from the bottom up, but it's not a bottom that I think everyone thinks is very low. I don't think the Mavericks got as low as everyone thinks post Luka trade. With Cooper, with AD, you still got Jason Kidd. Everything will be just fine. This has been Mavs Latest. I am Josyah Howard. Catch the next episode tomorrow, and let's get it.